Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. Please like, please subscribe. The same old, what you've all heard before, I'm sure, as you watch many videos on YouTube. But it really does help, and I do appreciate all the people that have subscribed, all the people that have gone on to Patreon, all the people that I'm teaching at the moment, guiding, not teaching, as you well aware. I don't like that, but no, it's a big thank you from the start. Anyway, what am I going to talk about? I learn an awful lot through speaking with a lot of the, dare I say, students. I learn an awful lot, and I will keep learning. I understand that, and it's fantastic to have the opportunity to be able to learn. And what I learn and what's coming to light through working with these wonderful people that I work with is the sheer confusion of it all. And I honestly didn't realise just how much confusion is out there. So probably when I started all this, I did not want to go down the norm route, because I've been there, I've worn the t-shirt. I'm not bragging. I hope you don't take it that way. I don't mean it like that at all. But I've been a young medium. I've tried to join circles. I have joined circles. I've then ran circles. I've done demonstrations. I've done one-to-one. And I know that it is a rocky road, a difficult road. It's not always easy. And I guess I'm being a bit naive, thinking that maybe nowadays things are maybe a bit easier for people than, because obviously spirituality, the mediumship side of things, has massive media coverage on on the TV, and it's only been over the past few years that has happened. So when I started, it was not something that people really spoke about much. Although people had a keen interest, it wasn't out there like it is now. So I guess in my naivety, I thought things maybe would be a lot simpler for people. But it seems to be coming across from a lot of the people that I work with that it's probably just as difficult now as what it was then. And there is an awful lot of confusion. There's obviously there's a lot of people jumping on this bandwagon, and some of it is very sad. Some of the things I hear is some of them are just outright ridiculous. I can only talk by experience. I read books, but I read books on different spiritualities, different religions, but one of my keenest interests is the American Indian spirituality. I thoroughly enjoy reading about that. But to learn to be a medium, and I've said this before, and you'll probably turn straight off once I've said it, is down to you and spirit. Okay, you can have 40 certificates on your wall saying you've done these courses and things like that. Okay, fine. Lovely that you've put that effort in and you're trying very hard. But what's important here is that you start with a blank canvas. If you're struggling, the best thing to do is, first of all, think of the things that you've probably learned over a number of years or quite recently. Sit down and think about the things that didn't sit right with you. So you may well have been told something, you may have well been asked to practice something in a certain way. If it doesn't feel right for you, drop it. Just push it away. Don't keep working away with it. because if it's not right for you, this is never ever going to work. The best thing to do is just push that to one side. If you start with a blank canvas and you start by simply sitting in that silence, we'll go on to sitting in the power in a minute, because I understand, again, it's another big selling point for many people. What you need to do is sit in that silence, in that peace, and just send that thought out there for spirit to merge with you. That is where you need to start. Or if you have total trust in somebody who runs circles, somebody that you feel at home with, you feel comfortable with, okay, and what they say resonates with you, then by all means, once a week, month, whatever, however often that circle is run, go and sit with that circle. Is what resonates with you is the right path to take. Spirit, when they merge with your personal energy, okay, they will find a way to work with you. And it's also a way that you will find to work with them. It's a two-way thing. It's a thing that you will develop over time. So as a developing medium, your development really relates to your connection with spirit. That's where the development side of it comes in. Spirit will develop you and you will develop with spirit, whereas you will know when they're around you, you will know when there's a message, you will know what to pick up on for a certain sitter. In other words, what I'm trying to say is things like symbols. So you will learn over time a particular symbol, an image that you pick up on will relate to something. That symbol can vary, obviously, between mediums. For argument's sake, we could have an apple may mean one thing to one medium, and an apple may well mean something completely different to another medium. So there is no point in a teacher, if you like, trying to tell you what an apple means, because it will mean two completely different things to two completely different people. So that's where that personal aspect of self comes into your mediumship. That relationship is so important to build with spirit, and it takes time. When you sit in a classroom at school, obviously we are talking two human beings, a teacher, a child, in the same room, same environment, same kind of level of energy. So being taught in that environment is quite simple in a way. All we have to do is absorb it. When you are being taught with spirit in your classroom, all you need to do is absorb it. It's no different. But obviously, we are not in that same scenario. We are working on a different vibration. We are trying to learn from a different level from what we do here on earth, if you like. So when you're sat in that silence, you are literally just changing your vibration level. You are reaching out there to be able to attune to what spirit are trying to say, what they are trying to show you. You are trying to meet in the middle. so you can learn, build that relationship. Spirit can learn an awful lot about you. They know what makes you tick. They know what means what to you. They will work with you in that way. They will work on a vibration that resonates with you. So this is where you learn. A lot of people, obviously now it's been mentioned that there are methods. Okay? There may well be methods. But these methods are totally different for the individual. They are not all the same. So any teacher who works, the way I see it, this is purely because I guess my perception of it, if you like, this is how I see it. Okay, any teacher who has a worth gets to know their student first before they lead them to that door. So if you get to know your student, you get that connection with their energy, with their soul. You sense, you know what you need to do to be able to help and guide them on their journey of mediumship. You cannot set a method in stone and stick to it as a teacher or as a guide of mediumship. It's impossible. It will never, ever work. There is nothing set in stone when we are talking of spiritual energy, because all is possible. Most of the things that are created here, that we have around us, and things obviously progress, but all the things that we have around us are limited to what we can create as human beings in this form. Yes, we learn and we create better things as time, well, we say they're better, not always, but we create more and more things as time goes on because we're learning. We are learning different things. We are learning methods to simplify the production of things. And again, that's not always a good thing, but that's how we work. We are limited to what we can produce. When we start talking about spirit, the energy, the soul, the source that runs through everything that we experience has not any, or hasn't got that limitation. It doesn't exist. It is the be-all of everything. There are no limitations. We are the only things that put limitation in place, because we are taught within a box and we live within that box. So as a medium, do not sit in that box and expect things to work, because they will not work. Accept that anything is possible. And if a method works for you, go with it. No one has the right to say that is not the right method of doing something. And that is not what I'm trying to say here, that you're making big mistakes. What I'm trying to say is anything that does not resonate with you, that you've been taught in the past, that doesn't feel right for you, it doesn't work for you, then just drop it. Start again if you need to start again. Many things that are advertised for you to go along to, I go along to things because it's great to talk with like-minded people and obviously share experiences, and it's wonderful. The atmosphere is lovely. I love even some of the little spiritual shops that you can wander into. I love going into those and having a look around. There are lots of nice aspects to mixing with people of have the same mindset, if you like. But like I said, it's important that you don't get into this roller coaster of total confusion. It will hold you back big time. It really will. There is no limitation, so don't put it there and work within it. It's the worst thing you can do. Many people that I'm working with now have their own little method of maybe sitting, communicating, and one thing for me is I will not try and change that method. What I will do is work with that method. That's why I spend a bit of time getting to know the students first of all, before I start easing in they are tips and guidance to help, to put your mind at ease. Look, you're not doing nothing wrong. You must be more patient, blah, blah, blah. There are little things that I do to help. But if something works for one of my students, whether it's the sensation when spirit's there, maybe it's something they do before they do a reading, whatever that is, that must stay in place because it is them, it is their uniqueness, and that uniqueness is so, so important. Because we are all unique and different, then our methods will be unique and different. Because it's that uniqueness that spirit work with. So be yourself. If you're getting lost, getting a bit confused, just start again with that sitting. Many of the greatest mediums of all time, if they had a period where they were struggling, where it weren't quite going right, they weren't happy with the evidence that they were receiving, it wasn't accurate enough, or they were mishearing it, misseeing it, the very first thing they did was spend another period of time sitting with spirit. They didn't go and get a book off the shelf and try to see, where am I going wrong? The best mediums sit with spirit and learn where they're going wrong. They don't try and they don't Google it, put it like that. So I totally believe in the fact that everyone has the right to question, because that's how we learn, by questioning. So don't be afraid. If you're doing a course or whatever, don't be afraid to question what you're being told, because that is very important too. And you can question with spirit. When you're sat in that energy with spirit, question. If you're not quite sure about something, question. They will respond. So please, if you are struggling with any aspect, be it like sitting in the power, I did say I would just talk very quickly about that. But the sitting in the power, this is causing a lot of confusion with people. It literally sitting with self in that peace zone, if you like, relaxing. And one way of relaxing, like in a lot of different practices, is the concentration on your breathing. So that is a good way of relaxing, just being aware of it. And if you struggle with sitting in the power, and that reaching out, it's been brought out about, how do I do that? How do I expand? You are expanding while you're sat in that silence anyway. You are getting a grasp of self. And sitting in the power is very, very good for helping you get a grip on self. That energy that will communicate with spirit. It will help you recognize that by sitting in that peace. If you struggle with expansion, and many of the teachings of sitting in the power talk about the light on the chest and expanding that light out into the world, and etc. A lot of people really struggle with that. Drop it. If it doesn't work for you, just drop it. Sit in that silence, send out that thought for spirit, send out that intent. And if you sit with your eyes closed, and as I explained in another video, you can always focus on the third eye part of your head, just here or just in front of that. And with your eyes closed, allow yourself to be drifted into that space here. Just allow yourself to be pulled into it. No effort is needed. Don't sit there straining, because it just will not work. It won't happen. There's a little word that is a little word, but is a very powerful word, and that is observation. If you can sit in your peace, in that quiet, okay, just sit and observe that space. Anything that appears, let it go. Don't start trying to label it, because the brain will. That's the way it works. That's how the mind works. It needs a label for everything. If it doesn't know what it is, it will find a label for it. So don't allow that to happen. Just with practice, you will find it'll be a lot simpler just to see something and allow it to go. So observe that space before you. Just sit and observe it and be drawn into it. Importantly, before you start, send out your intent to spirit. This is for us to work together. This is for me to learn from you, for you to learn about me. So do that, okay? If you're struggling with that expansion, just sit with that. Your heartfelt intention is the most powerful tool you've got. Not sit there struggling with expanding your light from your chest. This is about you and the work that you do and what you're going to be doing, okay? You won't have opportunity to flick to page 36 in chapter 4 when you're struggling a bit on a reading, because you need to be natural in what you are doing, and the only way you'll do that is by being your natural self. So don't struggle with things. Don't work with things that don't resonate. Just be who you are, okay? That is how Spirit's going to communicate, through that line of who you are, yourself, your soul, your energy. That's how they communicate with you, okay? So I apologise for the washing machine spinning in the background, and I hope it doesn't spoil the video too much. But anyway, just a little natter with you there. Practice that silence. Don't worry too much about anything else, and practice being you. Practice what fits for you, what resonates with you. Keep at it, keep working with it, okay? You'll get there in the end. Any questions, please leave them in the comments. Pop over to Patreon if you like and have a look on there. I'll leave a link in the description. And please, if you're struggling, just start again. Drop it all the things that have been rammed into your mind over the years, just forget about it. So right, I'm going to do what works for me. Forget what I've been taught, because like I said, there is nothing set in stone when you are working with spirit, because there is no restrictions at all. We are talking about source, we are talking about soul, we are talking about energy, we are talking about all that is. And if the connection to spirit, mediumship, could be written within or on a piece of A4 paper and practiced and all working within 6 weeks, then oh, how wonderful that would be. No, we have gone plastic, unfortunately, and it's sad. Remember what I said about if it's not working, sit again. If something don't feel right for you, if you give a reading, you don't feel you're getting clarity on the messages you are getting, sit again. Go and sit. Put that out there to spirit. I'm struggling a little bit here. I need some more time with you. Please help me. And even though you think nothing's happening sometimes, the next time you do a reading, you might find there's a bit more clarity there. You think, hang on a minute, this is good. It's dedication to that time with spirit. So there's the answer to the question, how do I become a medium? Go and sit with who you are employed by, if you like. Go and sit with spirit. Take care. Please like and subscribe. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.